Hello everyone, Ribokun here, and welcome to another edition of Street Creds, the place where we look at games I consider interesting for me and you to check out and see if they are worthy of our time and money. Today, we're going deep into the darkness and the horror of a well-known franchise in the horror genre. I'm talking about none other than the Outlast franchise with their latest release in early access on May 18th, the Outlast Trials. Now sit back, relax, kick those flip-flops off, and enjoy Street Creds review of the Outlast Trials. The story of the Outlast Trials is more or less straightforward in terms of why are you here. In order to provide your drug addict rat friend the help he needs for recovering, you sign up for these unknown trials that possibly will give you some kind of reward. And my oh my, are you going to work for those rewards? After starting the game, you will get intro cutscenes to the various scenarios or trials that explain what is going on in that situation. With the game being in early access right now, there are only a few different scenarios. You go to a police station where the main boss villain is a weirdo YMCA sort of police officer with a passion for fried nuts, in an amusement park, and in a school church, with both sharing the same second boss, which is an old lady with a foul-mouthed puppet that enjoys carving people's faces as a hobby. You can find more information about the story in a classic detective move mechanic by scouring the entire level for documents that give the trials and the overall world more context. Moving on to gameplay and mechanics, you can definitely feel the Outlast vibe and playstyle, which Red Barrels is known for introducing in their previous games. I recommend you play, by the way. You are limited to moving, crouching, and a very shy hop, which you can use to slide over desks and other obstacles. The eeriness of being in these tight spots and hearing your heartbeat or short rapid breath while peeking through a narrow crack at the cuckoo people that are looking for you is something that will for sure keep you on the edge of your seat. There is also an exhaust mechanic if you run too much, which I personally am not a big fan of, but I see how it makes sense since you're not a world-class athlete that can run for days, but just a rando from the street with a big heart for a rat junkie. And last but not least, the mechanic famous for the genre is the night vision goggles. As this game is darker than Anakin's interest in teaching, you will be relying on these bad boys a lot. Also useful to know, in pitch black rooms, enemies are not able to see you, but apparently sometimes they still do. Also, in a classic Outlast move, you are not able to fight the enemies, only use stealth and your wits to overcome the challenges. Now let's talk about the new thing and the main selling point for this game, the multiplayer part. You, together with 3 of your best buds, can venture together in these hellish trials. Work together to overcome obstacles through strategy and play tag with kiting the enemies away from spots you need to reach while one of you is completing the quest. Cooperation and working together has never been more wholesome and important, is what I would say if my teammates would stop smacking me in the face with the door while I feel the breath of a psycho on my neck, or stealing all the stuff that I find, or just watching me while I get turned into minced meat by a puppet that keeps shit-talking me. Ugh. I needed that. Okay, back to the review. Jokes aside, it is very fun to play with some people, trying to figure out where we have to go or what we have to do. It's so much fun to be able to share these intense moments, and so far I think Red Barrels has done a great job with this one. Another mechanic is the addition of psychosis, as traps and enemies can inflict psychosis on you with poisonous gas. Your sanity meter will go down, and once it's empty, a ghoulish Slenderman looking creepy guy in a suit will pop up. I think its name is Skinnerman. He will start chasing you until your sanity meter starts recovering, and if he catches you, he will do damage to you, eventually killing you. One feature that came as a surprise and a welcomed one, even though I was on the pain side of it, was that sometimes when you're alone, a doppelganger of one of your allies will appear and start going towards you. If he gets close enough to you, he will start shanking you. Just like a true friendship. The only way to tell the difference between the real one and the doppelganger is to look at his player name, as it will be a distorted version of the original. Cool thing to do. I like this one. If you generally don't like people, that's also okay. The game plays really well in solo, and you can get more of that OG games vibe of trying to survive alone, relying only on yourself. From my gameplays, I did not feel that there were missions that felt impossible or forced me to play in multiplayer. When you are not running around like a chicken without a head, you are thrown back into the main hub of the game, where you can spend your hard-earned cash and XP points to improve your skills or customize your character and room. Over here, you can decorate it however you like. I don't have any knowledge about these items ever going into microtransactions territory in the future, but for now, to get them, you only have to play the game and get cash. And hey, who doesn't love a bit of customization? You can unlock cosmetics to personalize your character and make your prison cell a bit less dreary. It's a nice touch that adds to the overall experience. Outside your room, you can check out other people's rooms. Also, you have the option to upgrade your rig, which acts like a special skill you can use in a run. Currently, there are 4 main ones: stun, blind, heal, and x-ray. Of these, I have to say that the x-ray in my case did not feel that impactful. Also, you can get some passive skills from the pharmacy, some of the interesting ones being passive healing, sliding, or being able to kick an enemy off of your friend. In terms of visuals, the game is looking gorgeous. I feel like coming back home if home was a slaughterhouse of madness and insane naked people. The game looks a lot like its ancestors, especially the first game, but with the gore aspect dialed up to 1000. The lighting works very well and is used sparingly, giving you the feeling of hope and safety anytime you find it. In terms of customization for the character and your room, there are some options to pick from, but nothing that I would consider fancy or groundbreaking. Keeping in mind that this is early access, the enemy design is what I would expect from an Outlast game, with grotesque and mutilated bodies showing severe injuries from failed experiments. Animations for interactions with objects looked fine for this level of development, but there is definitely room for improvement, especially for enemy animations and interactions with objects and the environment. Starting from the main menu, the sounds in this game will make you feel super uneasy. Check this out. Scratches, screeches, wailing and screaming with a good pair of gamer headphones will make you think that everything is happening right next to you. The music is setting in a sense of dread and panic, but also knows when it should stop and let the big boy of pre-jump scares do the work. I'm talking, of course, about silence. When you're not being chased like a goose through the corridors or are in a hiding spot and you can only hear your character's heartbeat or heavy breathing, you can feel the tension and suspense of what is to come. A quick peek. Who's breathing? Ooh. Who's... Oh shit, it's me. I think it's me. But not me, like game me. Oh my god, you're breathing too loud, man, stop! Mix in sound effects like cracking floors, stepping on broken glass that gives away your position to create tension. Easy, easy, go, go! Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm making too much noise! Or gnarly sounds of drilling or sawing bones and flesh, and you have an all-you-can-eat buffet of gore and macabre.
You can't make a chopstick. You gotta get creative.
Now, as with any title that comes out nowadays, we need to talk about bugs and issues. The game is not a full release, so you can't judge it as a final product. With it being in early access, there are a lot of bugs being found here and there, such as interacting with objects in the world, doors not closing how you would expect them to, and objects just behaving strangely. There are reports of enemy AI having an existential crisis when they see you jumping over objects, which leaves them stunned as to how did you do that, or sometimes they get stuck in a a corner, which is usually the place where you have to go to do your quest, and they never leave it, forcing you to bait them out of there only to realize that when you hide from them, they just go back to the same place. They have issues when it comes to reacting to sounds from thrown bottles as a distraction, and sometimes they just completely ignore a brick to the face when they are charging at you. In terms of my gameplay, these were some of the issues that I've noticed so far. Probably there are more, but from my understanding, the devs are hard at work both on fixing the rising issues and are also taking feedback for improving the game, which is always a great thing to do as a dev. With this entry in the Outlast franchise, Red Barrels is trying to expand the way in which an Outlast game can be played. Having multiplayer as the main feature in this installment, I see it as a fresh way to indulge in the constant panic mode of the genre, which paves way for a lot of funny and chaotic moments when played together with friends or even with randoms. As the game is in the early stages of early access and with the track record of the devs, I am confident we will be getting a lot of bugs and issues fixed and more content in the future. Being so early in development, there is a lot of content that is missing. As I previously mentioned, there are only a few maps available and just 2 main bosses. The missions have more challenges after completing them on the first try, such as more enemies, fewer places to hide, more traps, all of these in order to try and prolong the gameplay time. So if you think this is not enough content for you, then I'd recommend not getting it right now and waiting a bit. In conclusion, the Outlast Trials Early Access delivers a thrilling co-op experience that is very enjoyable. With its twisted premise, intense challenges, and gameplay that creates hilarious moments when played with friends, I would say it's definitely a roller coaster ride full of guts and gore. I think the game has potential and will grow to be an even better experience over time. Whipping out my credits, I'm giving the Outlast Trials Early Access a hefty 70 credits and would like to make a follow-up review when the full game is out to see if the score still sticks. So make sure you grab a couple of friends, turn off the lights, and prepare for a session of screams, laughs, and terror. That's about it for this review. If this video helped you out, make sure you smack that like button and subscribe for more game reviews. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Ribokun out!